Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on the journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney West
and Kelly Arundel.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sydney.
How are you?
I'm great.
That's
I'm great.
Good.
Yeah.
So we have some fun little intro banter this
Yes.
week. When did this this happened? Like
This was last week because I was going to get a Father's Day card and we didn't even pick up the Father's Day card.
right.
So we're in HEB.
EB.
EB.
As
This
Charles
is
says.
Charles's joy place. So
Yes.
it's past time we went to HEB. And we're picking up a few items, and I thought, I want some cereal. I need some good cereal. So I'm down the cereal aisle, and there's we hear over the loudspeaker, Tony Parker's wine is on sale here, and blah, blah, blah.
And so we were just like, oh, maybe they're doing a wine. I thought it was like, they're doing a tasting for his wine. Let's go check it. But no, then they're like, and he'll be here from 5 to 5:45. And I'm like,
and this was about 4:40 or something.
It was like 4:20. Yeah.
Was it that early?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my. And the line is beginning to form, it says. So I'm in the cereal aisle. Charles is in the cart. And Sydney goes, I'm going to go get in line.
I'm going to check out the line.
And so she goes, and Charles and I are just kind of standing in the cereal aisle.
So funny.
And the whole point, one of the points of going to HEB was to get a Father's Day card.
Yes.
Well, Sydney stood in line, and then I went home and got Paul, and we got the wine, and we got it signed.
And we got pictures, and it was awesome.
It was really fun. It was great. But on the way home, you say...
I text her, because Dad's in the car, and I texted her, and was like, you know the one thing we forgot? A Father's Day card.
That's right. So, luckily, Wash Tub has someone. I went and got my car washed the next day.
That is funny.
That was funny, though. But that was really cool. It was great to see Tony Parker.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Very nice.
For those that aren't from San Antonio or have ever, never lived in the area.
Basketball fans either.
Yeah. He's amazing. Part of the Spurs dynasty when they won, I don't know how many championships.
Several, yeah. And
Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, teammates. And he's a nice guy.
Yeah. He's in the Hall of Fame.
NBA Hall of Fame. Yep.
So, yeah. Cool experience.
Very
so you
cool
never
experience.
know.
You never know. Just go to your grocery store. Maybe you'll see somebody famous.
That's right. That was fun, though.
That was awesome.
That made me laugh.
Yes. So this week we're kind of going back. Well, because last week we had our practices and stuff. And this week we've talked about music. We've talked about books before. Now we're kind of doing the fun topic of TV shows.
Yeah.
TV and stuff.
It's changed so much because you talk about TV shows, but really, are they TV shows?
Are they
streaming
shows? Yeah.
There's,
I know we say TV, but do we even watch on a TV?
Most statistics show a lot of the younger generation watches it on their phone or a tablet
or something. Yeah.
So they don't watch
on the TV, but we still call
TV.
them that. That is also an interesting thing that we still call them TV shows.
Yeah.
Like that stuck around.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about, there are surprisingly some benefits to watching TV, like for your own personal growth. I think whenever we talked about books, we talked about how you can empathize with the characters and that can help your emotional intelligence and stuff. And it's kind of similar with TV shows, like watching TV dramas, but high quality ones. So like we're talking like Mad Men or West Wing, like that's high quality drama. So those sorts of things like can increase your emotional intelligence and do that. And they did a study in 2015, like they did a study on it. So
interesting.
And then of course there are other studies showing the adverse effects, on your brain and how it can be addictive and hits, certain points, in your brain for sure, like any other technological item, honestly.
Right. It can cause depression.
Yeah.
I mean, enhanced depression, I should say. Not
Yes.
but
Yeah.
enhanced depression
and stuff. But then at the same time, some people find comfort from the nostalgia of watching, it's such a controversial thing. And I think, for me, the underlying thing is like anything else, in moderation.
How much do you and why?
In moderation.
Yeah. Because I have found that. And when Paul travels is when I might end up binge watching.
Yes.
And it's like, I almost get sick of it.
Yeah, at some point.
It's like, I have too much of that. I'm too involved in their lives. I need to step back and look at my own. But, at other times, it's just a nice...
It's nice to
kind of
decompress a little bit.
Yeah.
And like it helps you kind of just get out of your own head and your own world, and you can escape it's a type of escapism, which, reading books kind of is too.
It is.
The other thing that we talked about, that we want to talk about, is it can bring people together too. It can be a very social thing. I think especially more so like when it was first around, obviously. But I think you can make it happen now. And we were talking about watching TV shows with family earlier.
I remember, whatever year it was that it came out, Modern Family.
Yes.
And it was like, we'd had the VCR or whatever
we
had back
DVR.
then. DVR then. I don't remember what we
DVR.
had at that point. But we'd always tape it in case we couldn't. But we always watched it together and we'd laugh as a family.
Yeah.
And that was so there...
Yes.
There were certain shows that we'd come together and watch.
And I think like... it's hard to do that because you were saying the Abbott Elementary creator,
yes, she was that was one of her. I saw an interview and she said it really brings her joy when people say, "Oh, our family watches that together," because she wanted a show that everyone could watch.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
and I think, I'd have to look at. I really didn't look up numbers for this sort of stuff, but like people watching shows weekly as they come out on the network versus there are shows that like on Netflix that come out all at once, or like that you can just wait until the end of the season to watch and then you binge it. But it's like there's something about everybody kind of coming around weekly to watch together, and then you have something socially too to talk about.
This is our time and we're watching it together. Yeah there is, and we're losing some of that now. I know that people will watch it across country together, right? Somebody will be here, somebody will be their boyfriend or friend will be somewhere else, and they'll watch a show at the same time together on something. I don't know what. Yeah. But anyway, so that's a thing. That's another way of watching it together.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
But, there are certain shows that, even though Paul travels, I have to wait. Then I have to wait for him to get back because there are shows we watch together. Reacher was one of them.
Oh, so good.
And so there's certain shows that we'll watch. But
I think it's like because unless you instill that in your kids, like it's so hard. Like a lot of people just use tablets and stuff, and then it's like you don't watch TV together. Like, you and Dad would, especially you would like watch our kiddie shows with us at the beginning together.
Well, we'd be there because,
we had, like we were used to Wheel of Fortune, watching that. And so I think we had like at least a little bit of a history of watching stuff together.
And you're in one room and you're there together. And that's what is fascinating to me. And I didn't see studies on this, and maybe I didn't look in the right places. I would love to know what they are. Yeah. The difference between, common sense tells me, I know the answer. I really don't need science to tell me this. In that when somebody's watching their iPad and their phone, they've blocked whoever else is around out. Because you're on this tiny device and you're looking at it, and that is your focus.
Versus on a TV.
The whole room is involved. And I know there is something with that. There's an isolating in the midst of being in the presence of other people.
They even say with kids, it's better to have them watch on a TV than a
and I see it in the restaurants. I see people, they're watching it, and it's like, oh,
so different. Yeah, they're not being included.
There's no part of conversation at all. And I know I'm not saying they shouldn't ever, but what I'm saying is, I've seen from the time they came in and to they left, they never had a conversation with their parent. Right. Or whoever else was at the table. And these are little ones and big ones. Yeah. And I just think y'all learned how to
talk,
converse at the table.
Yes. Yeah. For
whether
sure.
we were at home or away.
So there's definitely a difference in how you watch it for sure.
There is,
yeah. And it's not like, it's not like you can't ever watch it on a tablet. You shouldn't ever, it's not like, it's, again, moderation.
I watch it when I binge watch certain shows.
You do it on your iPad?
If I'm doing it during the day, I'll do it on my iPad so
it's
that
like
people will think I'm working or something. I'm busy watching. But it feels different when I binge it on the the iPad.
Versus
I'll just keep going and going versus on the TV.
Yeah, because then you look around and you're like, I should get up and do it,
Yeah, there's other things I can be doing. But it's an interesting...
Yeah.
So balance. I know I'm not the only one.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But there are good shows, and I love...
Yes.
I love watching TV. I do. I love good shows.
I love it. I know. And there are some people, that's just like not their thing. But man, I remember the very first show, like adult show that I ever watched with you. Like, it was like shows that you and Dad would watch. And I wasn't old enough to watch them yet, but I was finally old enough. So you let me Monk.
Okay.
And Numbers. Numbers.
I was thinking Numbers.
Specifically both of those because I think they came on either back to back the same night or like one's on Thursday, one's on Friday, something like that. But Numbers was Friday nights.
That was a good show.
So I'd watch. Oh, that was so good. So I'd watch that with you guys, and then Monk was the other show. It's like those two shows you let me watch, and I was like, I'm an adult watching adult shows. It was great, and it's like, and that's what I think too. I think can get it's like. It's just like little moments that you just like remember and connect with family.
With others. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you want to go through some of your
I would
faves?
love to.
Yeah.
So with all the streaming stuff now, it has broadened my horizons. Although PBS didn't really.
I mean, we watched that before.
I watched All Creatures Great and Small.
Oh, such a cute one.
It's one that there's just enough tension, but everything's going to be fine. And
it's a feel good.
It is. It's beautiful scenery.
PBS has a lot of good shows like that.
Yeah.
That are just like tensions, kind of, but you don't have to stress.
It's about the veterinarians in the 1930s, and in Yorkshire, England, is where they film it, and it's absolutely beautiful scenery. So that's part of it too. Yeah. So that's one. Yeah. Hacks on HBO.
That one's a funny one.
It's comedy. It's dark.
It is kind of dark.
It's a blend, but it is so characters
good.
Are fantastic, and
so good.
Yeah. So that's another that one I watch. It's about an older comedian and a younger comedian
who's like helping write for her.
Yeah, and just their differences. It is. Yeah, but that's good.
So good.
Blue Bloods I've watched for every season they have.
Blue Bloods.
It's been on.
When I lived at home.
I think this is the last season.
I know. When I lived at home, like I think it started when I was in high school. And then I'd come home from college and I'd like catch up and watch it with you. And like, oh my gosh.
Still watching.
I know.
That's
I
when
dropped
watch
off.
On the DVR and then watch it later so nobody else sees it.
So I'd watch it. My friend Cassidy, she was... I don't know why she but she would just make the comment of like watching I think because the sound was like so weird on Blue Bloods sometimes it was like hard to, but yes, I would like watch Blue Bloods in my apartment sometimes and I'd be like, I'm watching this, you guys, you gotta deal with it.
How funny.
They'd watch it though,
Would they
we all watch each other's shows. So.
That's good. That's good. Resident Alien.
Oh, you've been blabbing about
I'm ahead
this.
Of my whole family. I've watched
for
it.
weeks.
It's good.
I've not watched it yet, but
humorous,
you've been talking
and I'm not a
it.
sci-fi person as a rule. I just don't. I mean, it's just who I. But I watch stuff when I have to with everybody else.
Yeah.
But this one, I heard
it's more comedy.
I kept hearing it is comedy, but it makes some great, really insights about humanity. So but it's good.
Alan Tudyk is the star. He's always really funny. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
So what are you watching?
So two that I mentioned earlier, West Wing.
I love that.
So good. Old show, but it's just like, man, if politics could just be like this.
Yes.
This is the dream. It's the dream of politics. Probably more for liberals, but it is.
Yeah.
And then Mad Men was really good. You didn't really watch Mad Men.
I never did. I tried, but it didn't. I don't know.
It's definitely dark, but it's just the drama is very good. And then I watch a lot of the Marvel stuff. Like Loki has been my favorite. And WandaVision was good, but Loki was so good. So confusing. And you really have to know like all of the other movies to understand. You wouldn't get it.
Dad watches it and I
so good.
Watch it with him.
Yeah. She did air quotes.
I'm doing a crossword, but
she did air quotes over watch it with him.
Yeah. I watch it.
But so I like those a lot. And then I feel like we just watch a lot of the same shows because I love like Abbott Elementary and Ghosts on CBS.
For it, people. Those two are
Ghosts
good.
on CBS is so funny.
Yep.
So funny. And then
good ensembles on both those shows.
Yes. And then Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And it's like, and that one kind of blends drama and dealing seriously with like societal issues of like race and gender and stuff. But is also like a I just like funny. I do like drama. I'm kind of watching medical drama New Amsterdam right now, and I'll do it. But sometimes I'm just like, I can't. Life's enough. I need something funny.
That's my theory. There are two that are surprises for me that I watch.
Yeah.
One is Longmire.
Oh.
And it's like a contemporary crime thriller sheriff type of thing in Wyoming. And I started just liking the characters, but then it's dark. But I kept watching it.
Oh, that's weird.
I think I watched the whole of it.
Yeah, because you don't
which is really surprising. That and Yellowstone.
And that's dark too.
Very popular.
You can't like
but
anybody
it was very
in
dark.
that show.
I didn't see the redeeming characters.
No, there are no redeeming characters.
But I watched it. I didn't watch this last season, but I watched it up until they had the brouhaha, or whatever it was called.
And then
so those are
because you don't like because you don't like dark stuff and you don't like anything gruesome.
Kill them up.
Which I'm surprised. So did you watch Reacher and like it?
The second season was better than the first.
Okay. Because Reacher's pretty gruesome.
It is.
Reacher is a
Reacher,
great.
The first season was very gruesome, and so when those parts come on, I just
don't
watch.
Yeah. So Reacher is about a guy who used to be in like Special Forces Army unit, and then he like basically he kind of retires, and then he finds out that his
brother
is like, and so he gets killed, and so he's trying to solve this murder basically.
And
it's in a small town. It's so good. It's the relationships and then the intricacy of the story and the turns and all that stuff. It really does keep you in.
There's some characters and there's some redeeming qualities. Did you see the second season?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was better than the first because it wasn't as gruesome.
Both seasons, and that's rare. Good. I feel like that's rare sometimes for a TV show.
Yes.
It's like, okay, if the first season is really good, then it's like the other seasons are meh. But then other shows, so she also has a habit of not starting shows from the beginning.
Well, it takes so long to develop.
I agree. There are a lot of shows, too, especially sitcoms, like the first season, you're like, meh, it's not very good, but you have to watch it to get to know the characters and the story. Then the second season is much better.
Yeah, I watched
But you just have this habit
I'll
of
either join halfway
season 2
or halfway through season 1, and then I'll go back and watch the other. But
sometimes
I don't need all the elementary stuff. Just dive in. Except for Abbott Elementary. That was
you started at the beginning. But most shows, there's so many shows who say, I started with season 2. And I'm like, why?
Because I don't need all the intro.
So if anybody else out there does that.
Character development takes too long.
God, if anybody else does that, please let me know and what your experience is. Because I don't think I could. I can't do that.
I know.
God, but there are just so many. I really do love that we're talking now, and I'm just realizing, like, I just love TV shows.
I just need to get and watch more TV.
I know, right?
So there's two other there's a category that documentary. I'm not. This sounds bad, but I'm not a huge documentary person. But I am somewhat.
Documentaries are good. I think the hard thing with documentaries now is so many of them tend to focus on true crime and then like negative
or they're slanted.
They're slanted. They're not really true, unbiased.
Earth at Night in Color.
That's a
by
good
Apple
one.
TV.
That's good.
It is really good. Paul and I enjoyed it. We watched that one.
The camera they use is amazing.
It's pretty cool to watch the
and
animals
Tom
at night.
Hiddleston, I think, is the one that narrates that one. It's
and
a good one.
Of how long it takes to do that,
to get those shots.
It's incredible.
The nature shows, I will say, the nature documentary is pretty much always good.
I watched that.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I watched is under documentary, but it's Gutsy.
What's that?
It's Hillary Clinton and Chelsea, her daughter Chelsea, interviewing gutsy women around the world.
That's cool.
And it is hysterical. You watch Hillary Clinton interview Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. The Stallion.
And it's just
it's gotta be funny.
Yeah. And it's and Chelsea is interviewing people that she has no
clue
with, but they're crossing generational and economic everything.
That's
and
cool.
It's just I watched it I went in with well, I'll watch the first episode.
Yeah.
And I watched all of them. They interview fascinating women,
funny.
all kinds.
Yeah.
And it just crosses all. It's not a political show. It's not a. And Chelsea Clinton is just a fascinating. You can just see she's a compassionate person. It's just
for sure.
It was really good.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So yeah, I didn't have any documentaries because I just don't.
I don't watch.
The only things I see are true crime or negative stuff or I don't mind a good reality TV show, but that's not really a documentary.
But reality isn't really reality because they curb it anyway. It's not documentary. So funny.
It's not really a documentary.
Yeah, I'm watching a documentary. Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes. Oh my God.
Whatever
so
they
funny.
are. Yeah.
Really, the only reality TV show I ever really got into.
Oh God, I was so Oh yeah.
Oh, $1 Million Listing New York.
Oh no, I like that one. I thought it was The Bachelor.
Oh, I watched that for 2 years and I was done.
No, I love the $1 Million Listings.
So good.
Fun. Drama
so funny.
among the realtors.
Yes, hilarious. Love that one.
That was funny.
But I really don't do so yeah, we're kind of biased. So we don't really do reality TV. We don't do a ton of
got enough reality in my life.
I know, right? We don't do a lot of gory shows.
No.
Or I guess maybe me a little more.
You more than me.
I'm but it's not always my go-to.
We'll be sitting at the table and Paul and Lauren, Sydney or whatever, they all would be talking about shows and they'd all look at me. You wouldn't like it.
Oh my gosh,
this isn't for you.
This is, how am I forgetting this show that I love? What? The Witcher. It is so good. The Witcher, you don't
watch it. What is
Henry Cavill, and he's oh my gosh. Okay, it's a fantasy show, and it's based on the books. I got the whole series, and then, he's basically, it's magic. Yeah. You don't understand.
See? There we go. It's not for you.
It's not for you. Yeah. That is pretty
That's why there's
gory,
so many
but the story is very good. Okay. And the way that they get you into the world is so good because it's not so convoluted. There's not a ton of just having to explain everything. You just watch it and you get it. Okay. It's very nice. But yes, The Witcher is one really gory show that I will watch all the time. Okay. And our listeners will hopefully know.
Yeah, they'll probably know. I just, I'm so limited.
Oh my gosh. So maybe
escape show,
I know a little bit of escapism sometimes is nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everything in moderation.
Yeah. I have found, I can't name all the shows, but I found that New Zealand shows.
Or no, Australian
shows.
What do you watch that mostly on?
Acorn TV.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
See, you cut the cable so you can spend all the money on all the streaming services. So you really don't save anything.
No, you really don't.
Yeah, Acorn TV. They have some good.
Yes, they do. They Good Karma Hospital.
Good Karma Hospital.
That's a good one.
Good. People. It's
such
good.
A
you can probably find it elsewhere now too.
Probably, yeah.
But there's some.
That's a good show.
I like some of the British and.
Yeah, and PBS has a lot of good British ones for sure. Yeah, that's true. And so it is kind of nice because then you get to see shows made in other countries that you probably would have never
and
seen
some of their
otherwise.
Humor is
it's just
different.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, I could keep listening, but that'd be really embarrassing because then you know how much TV we're watching. It's when Paul travels. It's when Paul travels.
Well, because there's old shows too.
Yeah.
It's all there. But hopefully you guys maybe got some good recommendations.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, if you watch anything or have any suggestions for us, let us know for sure. Mm-hmm. And next week, we're going to have an interview with one of my friends.
Yes.
Again, from college. Her name's Cassie Dell, and she'll be talking. She has a 30 before 30 list. And it has a lot of interesting things for her for self-care, balancing work, balancing family, balancing life. She's very intentional about it, so I think she'll have some good insight for us.
I can't wait.
Yeah. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. You can join our Patreon. Still putting out meditations. And then, check out our website. Send us an email if you have any questions. And we do have a YouTube channel in case you're just listening audio-wise. Yeah. But we do have a YouTube channel. So definitely connect with us online. Yeah.
Great. And we look forward to next week when we'll take a breath and take a listen. All right, Sydney, I am so looking forward to the month of August and our podcasts.
Really? I thought it was just because it was our birthday month.
Oh, well, that too. Maybe we'll have some cake and ice cream. Well, that too. But yeah, because we're kind of refocusing. We had a lot of fun this summer doing various experiences and talking about books and the fun stuff. We're kind of getting back into a little more serious issues of
personal
growth. And what's the first week?
First week is when things don't go as planned.
That's right. Yes. And then we're going to be looking at why is personal growth so hard.
Then we talk about control.
And then control. I like that.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to talk about control, and then we're going to talk about some spiritual tools or whatever you want to call it for this wonderful journey that we're all on.
Man, it'll be a fun month. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.